What's up guys, my name is Patricia Reiners. I'm an innovation designer from Berlin and former Adobe Creative resident. I'm focusing on the future, immersive technologies. I have a podcast about the future. I'm sharing content about the future on my Instagram account, on Twitter. In my life, basically everything is around the future. We are about to start a new year, which is 2021. 2020 definitely has been challenging for all of us, I think. I decided to make a video about the top 10 UX trends for the upcoming year. Everything you as designer need to keep an eye on. Let's start with the first one, which are super apps. What are super apps? How do we use our apps right now? Most of the times we have one app and one purpose, right? So if we have WhatsApp, it's a messenger app, right? And multi-purpose apps actually combine multi-purposes, multiple goals in one app. And one of the most famous examples probably is WeChat, right? Like we know WeChat or even Alipay from Asia. Those super apps are very, very famous. And they combine different purposes in one app. WeChat, for example, combines messenger, social media, social payments, a banking app also, a food ordering app, shopping app, all those things in one app. And the advantages are that people stay longer in the app. The longer they stay there, the better is like their loyalty kind of, and the more money can those apps actually make, right? Because loyalty can be monetized. So we have seen them mostly in Asia, right? But they're coming slightly to the Western country, and this is where we need to keep an eye on this year. One example which I find really interesting is the Natural AI app, and they just launched in the US and combine different areas like shopping, also food ordering, and different kind of purposes. And what they do so well is they don't overload the interface with a lot of content. No, they only provide the information the user really asks for. So this is really exciting because this is probably where we are all heading to, multi-purpose apps where we as UX designers need to figure out how to really guide the user and not overwhelm them with a lot of content, a lot of things going on here and there. Point number 2. What we can say is 2020 definitely changed the way we work, we live, we play, so almost everything around our life. And although the upcoming year, 2021, will be the year where we finally have a vaccine and can go back to normal. But the question is, do we really want to go back to normal, or do we even can go back to normal, right? Because a lot of people have realized that the whole remote and digital work works out pretty well. So they don't really lack efficiency, how to say, right? So we went to like remote workshops, remote meetings and everything where people used to fly to another country, to another place, to another city. So now that companies or design teams also generally like the whole work environment realize that the whole remote working from home environment really works out quite well, the whole thing actually shifted. A lot of things are going to happen digitally, and this will stay on the long term. Although we probably will have a vaccine, this will stay. So a lot of things are going to move to remote, if it's event, if it's meeting, if it's workshops, those kind of things. So we need to figure out how to make that fun, engaging, and how to collaborate in a good way. This is also interesting for the part which is not work related. And I'm talking here about e-commerce, for example, the whole event industry, and those areas where you used to go to a physical store, you ask for help, are happening online. And we need to figure out how to actually consult the user with content that's helpful, right? So the solution there will be that a lot of video content, on-demand content, and also live content, medicine and the healthcare industry, where you can make like a virtual doctor appointment. And this is a trend which will definitely be very important in the next year. So we need to keep an eye on, because people, they will stay at home and we need to engage with them at some point. So integrating videos, interactive content, on demand, and also live content will be a huge trend for the upcoming year. Trend number 3 is personalization. And this actually comes with all the advantages of AI, right? Like artificial intelligence, with all the data that is gathered from the user and from like all the people out there online, helps artificial intelligence to really grow, become better, and predict specific user decisions. And I think this is interesting for two parts. The first is the right content, right? So really recommending content that is helpful for the user. Thinking about Amazon, you might also like. Or Netflix. They're doing that super well, recommending you movies based on your input, on the videos you watched, on the movies you liked, on the movies you didn't like, right? Well, this is very important and interesting. And Netflix also does that super well because they even personalize the images for the videos. So if I, for example, like, I don't know, thriller for example, then my Stranger Things or like the image looks different than yours when you might like comedy, right? And I think this is really important for us. We need to think about ways how to integrate that in our design decisions. So when we are creating user flows, we can already think about what kind of options do we integrate there. So what does AI means? Because we need to define what actually happens, right? So we as designers need to create the content, we need to think about that and also talk about the possibilities there. Integrate that in our user flows. So the second part, and this is about effect on interfaces, right? So right now we have a lot of like interfaces with a lot of content, but what we also realize is that people don't use everything all the time there. So how can be adjustable interfaces look like? This is also a huge thing for the upcoming year. Reduce complexity, make it a little bit more minimalistic and really focus on what is important, what does the user really needs. So point number 4, alternative in and outputs. And I think this got a huge push from the pandemic. I'm pretty sure about that, right? Because when needed to touch something, most people were like, I don't want to touch that. There could be like bacteria, virus. So the whole perception on like touching things changed a bit. So what could be alternatives? Could be voice design, could be a gesture. So like voice input or gestures, for example. Voice is really interesting. I think this is a trend for the last years already. We as designers can integrate that in our service as an alternative input, for example. Gesture is also interesting, right? Because you don't really need to touch something. Gesture works super, super well, especially if you have a tiny screen, if you don't want to touch something, if your eyes are busy, but one hand isn't busy. So you can use that, for example, doing driving, right? Here's a really great example. Or doing cooking, right? So there are a lot of ways how to interact with that. There's still some challenges, but really interesting to think about that and integrate that in our product as an alternative or as another input way. So point number 5, and actually my favorite topic ever. People who are following me know that. It's augmented reality app. 2021 will be the year where Facebook will release smart glasses. I am super excited about that. So Facebook announced that in September 2020, so a few months ago, that they're going to release consumer-friendly smart glasses. Very exciting for us, right? Because opening the market for like consumer products will also help us designers to really come up with designs and focus on the area, right? Because right now it's still challenging to really create designs there. We know that Facebook does a lot of research on that. They have a huge team working on that. And we also know that Apple does something very similar. It's very secretive, so we don't know much. There are a lot of rumors what's going on there and what they're working on, but I can't wait to try it out and also to rethink designs for the augmented reality world. This is like a huge future trend and I am super excited about that trend and also what that means for us as designers. So one of the probably worst trends in 2020 were the neomorphism. I think we all have heard about it. I must say that it looks very beautiful. I really love the style and the design and the aesthetic, like the minimalism. But the usability and accessibility lacks a little bit, right? So it's very difficult to use in the end. So I haven't really seen it implemented anywhere, only on Dribbble. But it also shows that we as designers, interface designers, need something new, something fresh. We're using flat design, which is like the basis for like all the designs we're doing since, I don't know, for the last 10 years or so. And we need something new, something realism, something maybe which comes from nature. And I think like neomorphism looks a little bit like you have an interface in the snow, kind of. I don't know. It reminds me always of like snow and nature and very like calming. So 2021 will probably be the year where we are focusing a little bit more on how can we actually design alternative interfaces that look aesthetic, pleasing, but also are usable. And I think all the discussions that happened last year, moving the whole design industry a little bit more in the like three-dimensional area, kind of, but we need to figure out the usability part. The only tip is don't overdo it. So if you want to experiment, come up with new ideas and solutions, I'm pretty sure that the industry is kind of ready, but don't overdo it. Usability should always be first. And the realism trend guides us to the next trend, number 6. 3D will be one of the biggest design trends for the upcoming year. And I'm not only talking about three-dimensional content, which is 3D illustrations or animations or visuals, but also for interface and design elements. Because with the advantages of like the whole hardware sector and WebXR, it's possible for us to really create pleasing, amazing digital 3D websites where we can navigate, where we can walk through, where we can engage with the content for educational purposes, but also really helpful for everything that happens online right now, because we can't really go to a physical store. We do need to do that digitally. Thinking about the e-commerce sector, right? If you want to buy a couch, if you want to buy something and you have like a three-dimensional element, that's really helpful. Leads us to trend number 7, which is animations and micro interactions. People spend a lot of time online. How do you say help the user to focus on what is really important? And we can do that with animations, interactions, and focus on the things that are important, especially thinking about micro interactions with that, right? Like I'm thinking about status change, websites, reloading, and those kind of things, like user presses a button where you can really guide the user and also make them smile and help really to stand out as a brand, as a product. So design trend number 8 is an interesting one, because I think we all realize that companies or design teams are like stealing ideas here and there, and in the end it looks very similar, also because of, I would say, like conversion rate optimization, creates the highest conversion. Design teams or product or stakeholders realizing is that branding is important. You need to stand out there. And what we are going to see in the next year is a lot of unorthodox design decisions. Really beautiful typography, interesting scrolling, interesting 3D animations, interesting also, I would say like unorthodox design decisions here and there with interesting typography, color choices, and a little bit like focus on the user. So through testing, we need to make sure that the user really gets what we are designing there, and that we are not coming up with something crazy, but that the human being is still in the center. So trend number 9, and this is probably one of the, I would say, most important one, because this is design responsibility. This is what we all have. And I think 2020 helped us to realize how important design is. With all the things that happened this year, with Black Lives Matter, right? Or the election, with the pandemic. A lot of things that happened online and got a huge push from online, from social networks, and where we as designers had, I think, like a huge responsibility how we provided content there, how we shared that. And also it helped me actually a lot to realize actually it's a good time to listen and to learn and to rethink the way how you come up with your designs. So the whole thing about listening was something that was really helpful for me, also through like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, where it was very important to learn. The one part here is definitely social media and sharing information online, so spreading information that is right. Twitter, I know, had like some challenges with that. So Twitter actually introduced content analysis and hide information that might be misleading. So they actually made a huge step in the right direction. And I think besides the social media and sharing a little bit difficult content, it's also important for us, how do we make sure that the content that is shared on the product we are designing is true? How can we fact check that? I think this is a big challenge and will be a big discussion in the next year. Everything around ethics. The second part of the ethical part, design responsibility, is also to think about the use of data, the use of AI, put the human being in the center, and make sure that we are creating content and products that help people. You know, with all the social media addictions and all the things that are happening there, which got a little bit out of control, thinking about dark patterns and tricking the user and things they don't want to do, it's important to us to take a step back. And I think 2020 helped us to realize what is important here in this world and to really speak up as a designer. Last but not least is behavioral research. Like 2020 was the year where a lot of companies decided to move online. So they decided to create some kind of digital products. They put a lot of effort in in moving online. And this is the only way from now on. And because of all the things that are coming up with all the newer technologies, thinking about like AR, VR, a lot of basic research needs to be done, behavioral research, where we are really analyzing what is the best methods, what are the user needs and goals, and how can we actually solve that. And sometimes also rethink the patterns we came up with a few years ago and come up with newer, better solutions, because now we can integrate AI, for example, right? Personalizing specific content. 2021 will be the year where we can rethink specific areas or patterns we use. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. There are a lot of really cool videos coming up this year. Everything around the future, about design, and yeah, I'm super excited about that. So, thanks for watching.